From the Detroit Free Press, it's Tuesday. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. Michiganders won't have to pay some taxes on feminine hygiene products and will be able to buy vehicle registrations that are good for 2 years in 2022, thanks to some laws passed in 2021 that take effect in coming months. While the Michigan legislature typically ensures bills that it enacts take effect right away, occasionally there's a delay for a variety of reasons. Here's a look at some of this legislation. Repeal the tampon tax. 2 new bills that repeal the sales and use taxes on feminine hygiene products go into effect on February 3rd. The measures are intended to make it easier for people who need these items to afford them. The inability to use pads, tampons, or other similar items poses substantial health risks to many in the state. Repealing some gubernatorial emergency powers. One of the most hotly contested measures in 2021, conservatives relied on the relatively obscure initiative petition process to rescind a 1945 law that gave Governor Gretchen Whitmer some emergency powers. At the start of the pandemic, Whitmer relied on this law to issue some of the more sweeping regulations and mandates, garnering, at times, substantial pushback. Despite repealing this law, the state health department still has the authority to create broad pandemic rules. Vehicle registration and recreation passports good for 2 years. Right now, Michiganders are supposed to renew the registration on their vehicles every year. While the Michigan Secretary of State argues it has never been easier to access many of its services, historically, many find the annual process to be a pain. Legislation that takes effect in October allows a person's registration to stay in effect for 2 years after that person's birthday. A separate bill that also takes effect in October creates a corresponding 2-year recreational passport. The registration needed to enter state parks, recreation areas, and boat launches. The fee for the 2-year pass is $20. Find out more about additional laws taking effect at freep.com.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Keith Matheny. Hunted to extinction in Michigan by the early 1900s, cougars are making a tentative step back into the state. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources has documented 75 cougar sightings since 2008, when it began looking, through photos from people's trail cams and smartphones, and from documented paw prints and other evidence. All but one came from Michigan's Upper Peninsula. But with the sightings has come a curiosity. From what biologists can tell, all of the big cats spied so far in Michigan have been males. Where are the females or the kittens? The belief is that the males are moving on from established populations of cougars in locations like the Black Hills region of South Dakota and Wyoming, because they are being outcompeted for mates by some bigger, stronger male cat. So they're looking for love in the Great Lakes region, but so far not finding it. Since cougars like to ambush their prey from elevations and tree falls, scientists believe the large farm areas west of the Great Lakes, which leave open crop fields in the winter, may discourage females from leaving their established areas.
I'm Andrew Hammond for the Free Press Sports Department. The Michigan State Spartans basketball team remained the top 10 of the latest USA Today Top 25 College Basketball Coaches Poll. Michigan State picked up wins over High Point and Northwestern this past week. They've now won 7 straight since losing to top-ranked Baylor in the Battle for Atlantis tournament final. This coming week, Michigan State hosts Nebraska on Wednesday at 7 p.m., and on Saturday, they face in-state rival Michigan in Ann Arbor. Speaking of the Wolverines, Juwan Howard's crew did not receive any votes for this week's coaches poll. However, the Wolverines do have a chance to gain some ground and grab some votes for next week's poll. Michigan faces Rutgers tonight in New Jersey in a battle of schools looking to get their second win in conference play. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 p.m. on the Big Ten Network.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.